amount of space it had in the cage. It never enjoyed the natural part of being outside. And if we think about this with our students, if we send them through an education where they never have choice, they never have ownership, and then we just open the doors magically at the 12th grade year, and we think they're just going to go out there and blossom. You've heard stories of kids that don't make it in college, don't make it wherever. If that's what we want kids to be, is independent and have ownership of their learning, then we have to create that for them. We have to give them that environment now, not when we open the doors at the end of the 12th grade. Old versus new. When I look at the picture on the left, and then I look at the picture on the right, teacher's still at the front, kids are still in rows. Okay, so the older picture, they have a chalkboard. We've moved ahead, now they have a smart board. Okay, teacher's still at the center. Who's ever at the center does the learning. So if it's the teacher doing the learning. So we have to get the kids ownership and personalized education. So ask ourselves, why are we still teaching the same way we did 100 years ago? Is that our comfort zone as teachers? When I say we, I'm just talking about the collective education society. So as teachers, we have to come out of our comfort zone. We have to do better. Get disconnected here. Okay, there we go. All right, so I have a little video here for a second. Can I get someone to turn the lights off now, please?
For centuries, everyone agreed, this is where you learn. This is how you learn. You sit in one of these, you pull out one of these. You take one of these. 15 minutes of this, 15 minutes of that. Then back to this. And at the end, you get one of these. That's learning. But why does it have to be that way? Learning is not one size fits all. The answer can't always be found in one of these. Learning can happen anytime, anywhere, at any speed. We believe by blending great teaching with the smart use of technology, we can personalize learning for every student in America. Many schools are already doing it, like Rocket Ship at Palo Alto, where adaptive software allows individual students to learn at their own pace. And KIPP Empower, where technology helps build a 14-to-1 student-teacher ratio. Or Carpe Diem, where the curriculum fits each student's needs. The future of learning is dynamic. It breaks the rules. It is as different as our students are. This is not school as you know it. This is blended learning.
They said a couple things in that video. They said great teaching coupled with smart technology. Thank you. So we're gonna keep the best of the worlds that are out there, the best of teaching and the best of technology. BlendedLearningNow.com is a website that you can go to and check some things out about blended learning. There are different models of blended learning that occur. What's nice about that is there's options for how it can be implemented. And one thing they did talk about is with the blended learning, it's dynamic for the students. The students are involved in it, the teacher's involved in it. You saw everybody in there. Yes, you did see the technology, but understand that the technology is coupled with a curriculum. It's not separate from it. It's not independent from it. The two go hand in hand. Now, flipped classroom, we've heard of flipped classroom. This is like coming in on the ground floor. It's not saying that flipped classroom is bad. It's the easiest way to get into blended learning is to flip the classroom. It's the easiest way in. The other models that you see there, the flex, the station rotation, the lab rotation, that's going to depend on the setup in your school, what you have. But of course, you're going to start with your learning outcomes, bringing in the technology to couple with it. So it's going to depend on what your school has. The flex model needs the most technology. That's where your students are one-to-one with their technology. The lab rotation is actually students being in the classroom and then rotating out to a computer lab and then coming back to the classroom. The station rotation would be maybe the teacher has 6 Chromebooks or 6 iPads, and so students rotate between different places in the classroom. And please understand the teacher is definitely there, the teacher is definitely playing a part, there's still direct instruction, it's just the students get more ownership and more personalization. It's like every kid has an IEP. We should mention probably the S word, standards. Standards are there. Teachers are confined by those in a way because it's like, here's your curriculum. However, there's still flexibility and things that can be done. Students can still set learning goals depending on how they're doing with that curriculum. Okay, and if it's mastery-based, they have to master it before they move on. Groupings are dynamic. Now, oh, here, you took this assessment, you're in this group for the next 6 months. So much can change in 6 months. This is day-to-day grouping. Okay, the student needs this today, but maybe they don't need this until next week. It's dynamic. It's all dynamic. So blended learning is definitely not one size fits all. Let's look at, just to remind ourselves, we had this in the beginning, and we're trying to have it again. There we go. How we're going to do better. Okay, and I keep going over these points: the personalized learning, the ownership, mastery, and the working relationship with the teacher. I have mentioned all of that. Just want to remind you of that. Here's another video. I want to show you a little bit of this. This is actually the Washington, D.C., so District of Columbia, their public school, and where they're doing blended learning. So I just want to show you a little bit of this so you can see a little bit of it in action. But don't be surprised when I don't show you the complete video. Just want to show you some of it. Thank you.
One of the things that has made DCPS incredibly successful is our ability to innovate. And we've been very careful about the strategies that we've put in place to make our schools not just high performing, but great places for our young people.
Now today we're going to look at 4 interactive tests.
Blended learning is a combination of using face-to-face instruction and also leveraging high-quality digital content that is going to engage them, it's going to challenge them, it's going to be rigorous, and it's also related to the standards. In my class, I do a station rotation. So there are some students with me receiving direct instruction. There's another group of students who are working collaboratively to solve a problem or issue, and then a third group who is working independently.
The power of blended learning is that you can really differentiate instruction and individualize and personalize it for all your learners.
Each section, each 1/6, I need to split into 1/4. Yes, good, excellent. Go ahead and do that. For the majority of our students, it's their first actual chance to work with computers on a daily basis.
On the computers, you get to choose a level, and once you pass that level, you go to the next level, and the next level, and the next level.
Students are progressing very quickly, and it's actually helping all of our students at all levels.
We believe that blended learning is really the lever to accelerate student achievement and meet our goals.
Told you I wasn't going to show you all of it. Just wanted you to see part of it. You did see the station rotation model. I hope you noticed those were not elementary students, because a lot of times when we think of rotating centers, we think of elementary. Not that you won't need a little different lens between elementary and secondary. However, you do see them rotating through the labs. Or the stations, excuse me. The teacher did mention, again, there's direct instruction, but she had a smaller group. So that enables the teacher to actually build those relationships with the students, which does help learning, because if the student thinks that the teacher gives a darn about them, it can help them learn. There's been research done. So again, that does exist, but the relationships with the teachers, so the small groups, helps with that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the teacher and what this means for the teacher. We need to get the teacher out of the center. They're not just going to come, like I'm standing in front of you today, the teacher wouldn't stand in front of the classroom. Okay? The teacher's not going to stand there. They're going to go from lecturer to facilitator, not to say that they're still not doing direct instruction. That still does occur. We already mentioned the dynamic groupings. That can change on a day-to-day basis. Mindset. Mindset has to be changed. It can't just be the teacher coming in, delivering all that, all the information. Kids can Google information. Kids can learn from each other. So the blended classroom can allow that to happen for the kids. Team teaching. I was watching some videos, and they were talking about how the teachers were actually team teaching. So what happens is, in elementary, instead of, if I'm an elementary teacher, I don't have to teach every subject. I team teach. If I'm strong in science, if I'm strong in ELA, whatever, that's what I can teach. So I can be a specialist, not a generalist, ultimately benefiting the kids. All right, data actionable. This has to happen. If there's going to be an assessment, what are you doing with the data? When I say you, I just mean whoever. If there's data collected, collect it if you're going to do something with it. If you're not going to do anything, why collect it? Why collect it? Must be actionable. Mentoring Fridays. That's an idea where the students actually come in based on how they're doing with assessments and things in the classroom. They set their own learning goals. And actually, if you look in the New York State teaching standards, under 5, it does say that. It says that students should be setting their own learning goals. It does it right in the New York State teaching standards. So again, some shifts for the teacher. Then we have to remember this. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't. The baby in this case is the teacher. We're not going to throw the teacher out. We still need the teacher. We do. Okay? So again, we're not going to throw that baby out with the bathwater because we still need some things to go on. We still need some things. We have to have a focus on culture, and the teacher helps to set that culture. Also those working relationships, and again, those magical light bulb moments. You know, as teachers, you look for 2 things. You look for the deer in the headlight look, like this kid's getting nothing from me today as far as this material, or oh my gosh, the light bulb's going off over their head. So we look for those. So we still need the teacher to gauge all of that. So even with blended learning, the teacher's not going anywhere. So if we're going to use the teacher to do the best that they can do, we need to use technology for the best that technology can do. And what can technology do for the teacher? Great assessment. What the heck? You get immediate feedback. Also, when that data is gathered, you can get it in a presentable form, in graphs or reports. And also the technology can be used to differentiate instruction. I saw this just on Twitter just the other day here. Notice this, a good teacher is not replaced by technology. They're not. What that technology allows for, if the teacher allows the technology to do what it does best, the teacher can do what they do best. And that is building those relationships and helping the learners learn. So again, none of that is going away. I know that is dated 2014. Alice Keeler, who's awesome on Twitter, all Google, she pinned it at the top of her Twitter. And you can do that. So you can keep something there that means something to you. All right, so we got this whole idea of blended learning. We get the kids involved, ownership, master education, all these things kind of swirling around. So what are some tips for change or success with that? Teachers are idealistic. As a teacher, you want the kids to learn. You want to do the best by them, so you want to be successful. Here's something that has to happen. When change goes on, we need the expertise of all the people involved, not their loyalty in the sense of don't stay loyal to how you've always done things. Just bring your expertise and let's talk about change. Let's move forward. Start with the willing. You always have someone in that building. They'll jump right. They don't care how deep the water. They just jump right in. And then there's people that follow them, so you're going to get those people going. Then you get those naysayers. This isn't going to work. We're doing another change. What the heck? So they see the first people going, people following, stay with the naysayers, talk to the naysayers, find out what their fears are, and bring them along. And remember, when you're doing any sort of change, there has to be the educational outcome first, then the technology. Not, oh, we have these Chromebooks, what can we do with them? No. What are your outcomes? What are you trying to change? What are you trying to do? Then you bring in the technology. There's no playbook for blended learning. You just have to go ahead and test things, learn things, and adjust. And here's a problem with waiting. I got to show you this young man here. And I say a young man. I've been following him for a year on Twitter. He is now all of 17. God bless him. Let's see. I think I did this the other day, and I can't do it now. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so what this is actually a blog. This is actually Mark Guberti. And he is 17 now, but he wrote this blog about why you shouldn't wait to do a change. Wait all you want, you might wait too long, something new happens. So really, if you want progress, if you want change, you have to make that happen. You have to be a part of that. So again, I do follow him on Twitter. He is awesome that way because he is so young. You don't have to be old to have wisdom. It can happen at any moment or not happen at any moment. Let me go on to the next one. Okay, and I do, let me get back to full screen. There we go. All right. So actually, right there, you don't need to see that. It's actually a Google Doc that has all my links for my different pictures that you saw. So here's something to remember. Here's a takeaway I want for you. Whoever does the work does the learning. Look at that teacher. Loaded down with work. That teacher's learning like crazy. Okay? Let the students learn. Give them the ownership. Give them that personalization. Let them set the learning goals. That's how the kids are going to do the learning, because they'll do the work. So I say let the journey of better begin. Thank you.